Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we took Camellia on a little trip into the brothel. She made use of some services that it had to satisfy Mirea's desire for sacrifice and kill who was desired most by her subconscious, which turned out to be Horgus Worm, her father. She has many questions now. We'll deal with that later in the future. For now, it's time for us to continue looking around the middle layer. Let's see what we can find here. Another portal up. This one goes to right here. Oh! Oh, a trap.
This is my kind of work.
And Knowledge Arcana here. The inhabitants of Illusionera seem to enjoy the abundance of lava around them. Demons are not immune to fire, they just like to live close to such a destructive element. And we have a chest here. Pick the lock.
Pretty good, aren't I?
Alright, there's some loot. So that was random, but I'll take it. I guess we go down here. Ah, there it is. It's coming down here. And now it's moving with us.
Follow if you dare.
The lower religion check here. Give me a sec. Alright, let's try this. The symbols inscribed on the wall belong to the language of the Titans, the first creations of the gods, and themselves the creators of the sinister Demodons. Okay. Well, we've got this again, so...
Can we retreat already?
And we've got more of you. And one of them dropped a phantasmal web. Oh, wonderful.
You just die already.
And we've got even more showing up.
This tradition is national.
Oh, crap, Nenio.
And your end.
Assist me at once.
Okay. They're all dead. That hurt a lot. And the rune has been enhanced. Right, that was, very painful.
Smile, the world's not ending just yet.
And because she lost so much, go ahead with, greater. That should get rid of both the Death's Door and the con damage. I'm willing to put that in there. Okay, that happened. Hello. I beg you, kind lady, give me a moment of your time. A thin Asimar, good breeding apparent in every line of his aristocratic face, addresses you. Greetings and welcome to this dismal place. My name is Ladverk, and I ask for your help. I beg you, show mercy, not toward me, but toward these young and innocent maidens. They are my wards, and they were unfortunate enough to be abducted by demons. Sarenrae herself bestowed a revelation upon me, which prompted me to settle here and aid my brethren doomed to a dark and cruel fate. But my strength is all but gone, I swear it. I need assistance now more than ever. Asimar women drift out of the house, standing like silent shadows behind Latverk. The faces of many of the women are covered in scars, and their gazes are cold, as if numbed by suffering and despair. An Asimar who lives freely in the abyss and just as freely performs good deeds. This may be the most suspicious activity I've yet seen in these parts. How may I be of assistance? Freeing enslaved Asimars has become my trade, you see. These women are former captives whom I saved from the monster's clutches, and I protect them to the best of my ability. But I've heard a new shipment of slaves is about to arrive in the flesh markets, and there is nothing I can do to break their shackles. Please do it in my stead. Please buy their freedom and send the women here. I can see that you are a traveler of means. A single act of kindness should not inconvenience you excessively, but will be forever indebted to your compassionate soul. Such a kind and generous soul is a true rarity in the abyss. We ought to help him, champion, not just to save the poor slave women, but also to strengthen his faith in the righteousness of the path he has chosen. And even in the abyss, we find an Asimar living a virtuous life. Ah, there's no escaping you, lad, is there? How did these Asimar women end up in the abyss? The abyss hungers for new slaves, so it sends countless raiding parties to other planes to stave off its cravings. These poor young women were captured on Galarian. I've never seen anything viler than those ruthless thrall-hunting, prowling in search of defenseless victims, sniffing out the weak to enslave, clamping collars around their necks. Where can I find these captives? As far as I know, the thrall hunters were hired by a slave trader named Yunk, a hideous demon utterly lacking in morals. I'm sure you'll find him at the flesh markets, gleefully counting the coins from selling his chattel. Why don't you buy their freedom yourself? Oh, alas, I simply cannot afford such an expense. My meager income is spent on buying the freedom of these poor souls. When demons see an Asimar customer, they raise the price and conspire to keep me from purchasing anyone. In their eyes, the glee of thwarting me is worth the lost profits. Okay, that does make sense. Why did they bring these Asimar women to the abyss? It pains me to say this, but I can think of only two options, and both are equally terrible. Perhaps they will be sold to the 10,000 Delights, a filthy whorehouse where corrupted souls indulge in the most immoral and vulgar of pleasures. The other option is even worse. I've heard Shamira, the mistress of Elutionira, is a former celestial from the upper planes who once served the Everlight. This partly explains Shamira's irrational hatred of Asimars. They say she buys my kinsfolk and takes them to her harem of ardent dreams, where she tortures them without mercy. Then she dines on their flesh. Oh, a monster! I see. I'm placing my trust in you. The lives of these unfortunate young women are in your hand. I could use a little help myself. The Asimar throws up his hands in confusion. I fear there is little I can do to help, but please accept this gift. You have a martial look about you, and I have no doubt you'll make good use of it. The man hands you a flask with a healing potion. Then he hides his hands behind his back to show he does not expect payment for his generosity and would refuse it if offered. May I spend a night in your home? I am very sorry. I would gladly shelter you, but there is no room in my home. My wards and I barely have room as it is, and we live in abject poverty. Moreover, the women need to feel safe so they can heal. They need to be surrounded by familiar faces and protected from even the slightest hint of danger. Letting armed strangers in our home would bring back traumatic memories, and it would be cruel under the circumstances. Please accept my sincere apologies. I have a few questions. I do not doubt this. You could hardly have expected to meet a member of my race in the abyss. Besides, the very nature of my calling, which is dictated by both altruism and compassion, must seem strange and unnatural in this place. I am used to such questions, and will gladly provide whatever answers I can. How do you survive in this place? Oh, it isn't easy. My ancestry alone enrages demons and makes them want to try to do me harm. There have been numerous attempts on my life, and they have often tried to destroy the house where I shelter my wards. Nocticula's strict ban on harming visitors from other planes may protect me from the claws and blades of my malevolent neighbors, but it is powerless to keep them from spitting at my feet, scrawling profanities on the walls of my house, or endlessly plotting against me. What are you doing here? I had a revelation sent by the merciful Serenray. I realized I must descend to this grim place and bear witness to its countless terrors, so that I might aid those in distress. When I first visited the flesh markets, I saw young women, my kin, locked up in cages. They had been abducted from a different plane and put up for sale like goods or livestock. So I immediately purchased their freedom and brought them here. I've been freeing Asimar women who end up in Illusionera ever since. I wish I could do more. This place is teeming with tormented souls. But alas, there's a limit to my abilities, not to mention my financial means. Why do you help only women? Well, because they are weaker. Their refinement, innocence, and beauty make them an attractive target for derision and torment. At least a man can go down fighting when his patience runs out. Most of the young women I met were denied this final escape from the horror due to physical or spiritual weakness. I wish my Lady Iomade could hear these words. This mortal must be kind-hearted yet blind if he perceives spiritual weakness in those who often accomplish feats, both great and small, without a sword in hand, with nothing except passion and dedication. You ask a woman to help you and immediately add that we're physically or spiritually weak? Oh, don't get angry, I beg you. I was talking only about those poor souls at the flesh markets. I know very well what kind of merchandise the demons drag there. They choose innocent, fragile ones. Those who can stand up for themselves are killed on the spot. Right. Nice backtracking. What happened to your wards? They survived truly monstrous abuses. The demons showed no mercy, subjecting these unsullied flowers to abuse and torture. Disgusted by their beauty and purity, the brutes trampled their innocence into the dirt. I tend to their physical wounds, but their hearts bleed still. They have withdrawn into themselves. They do not speak, not even to me. I hope one day I'll be able to return them to some semblance of a normal life and send them home. I have no more questions. I'm glad I was able to satisfy your curiosity. I have to go. May Serenray's healing light shine upon you, kind lady. We can actually walk into his house. Okay, something there.
I do what I must.
Some loot there. And some loot there. Interesting that there's an Aeon option. Anyway, I suppose you can continue looking around here. Path over here. This cowardly insect has disrespected our Lord and Master Baphomet. The swarm laughs at the branded wannabe. The swarm recognizes only the Skari as the true demon sovereign. Shut up, the both of you. This place belongs to Our Lady in Shadow, not Baphomet or Dascari, and she won't tolerate ruckus or bloodshed in the streets. Anything else happening here? Nope, and I can't talk to them.
Might be trap. Might be.
Oh,
trap.
that's what. Okay, we'll get back to that. And a senior guard. And there's something back here. A warp point. And there's a portal over there, too. We'll go into that building in a moment. Ah, okay. Looks like we have a puzzle here. So I think there's a good way to do this. If you put someone onto one of these, then it won't move. Okay, well, Jiff, you stand on the next one.
My skills are absolute.
Okay, Ivu, stand on the next one.
I'm always ready.
There we go. Darren, stand on the next one.
We should move.
Come on. There we go. And we got treasure out of this. What kind? Welcome Respite. What is this? Heavy banded mail. Whenever the wearer of this +5 banded armor is attacked in melee while being prone, stunned, or staggered, the attacker must pass a reflex saving throw or suffer from the same condition for 2 rounds. In addition, grants wearer immunity to fire and acid. Okay, the prone, stun, staggered when struck isn't really that impressive or that important, but the immunity to fire and acid is actually pretty darn good. That's actually better. That's better than Carapace. Right, because you have levels in Fighter. And because of that, you have armor training. So even though your dex is 7, that is actually straight up better. I mean, Carapace does look actually quite impressive, but welcome Respite. The prone, stunned, or staggered isn't going to affect you at all. But the immunity to fire and acid is really good. Lands a melee hit on the wearer, the attacker suffers damage to strength or piercing damage. You know what? I'm just going to give you this. It's not really as impressive, but it is nice. Also, I'm going to put this down here. Okay. I'll take that. Okay, that probably goes down to there. But over here, the Harem of Ardent Dreams. First time here. A fearsome-looking succubus steps forward, blocking her path. Are you sure you're welcome here? This is the Harem of Ardent Dreams, the Palace of Shamira, chief demoness of this city. After Nocticula, of course. But when did Nocticula ever care about our petty concerns? Bottom line, this palace belongs to the person who really runs everything around here. Got it? I wish to enter. Do you at least realize what you're getting yourself into, stranger? The most powerful demons of Elutionera come here. If you don't leap out of their way fast enough when they pass, they will grind your bones into powder without bothering to pull them out of your body first. You really don't want to go in there. How does a feeble guard like you expect to stop someone who's vanquished hordes of demons on Galarian? Was that meant to scare me? Sure, I've heard there's a massacre happening on Galarian, but how am I to know you have anything to do with it? Until I see blood on your hands, you remain nothing but a pompous stranger. Okay. So I guess we can't go in right now. Well, let's head down here. Right, disarm the trap, please.
This is my kind of work.
Pick the lock.
This is my kind of work.
And we can loot all that, I guess. The islands floating in the air are not the byproduct of some crazy magic. It is the energies of chaos that endow them with their bizarre properties. And they're not even the most amazing thing that can be found in the abyss. I suppose that's the end of that.
We do it my way.
And we've made it to the flesh markets, I believe. The last area to explore. Okay. This is not going to be very fun, now is it? Rebus. Krebus. The tall, thin vendor is swathed in a loose black robe. He is not a demon, but it is impossible to determine his race. His expressionless and hairless face is covered in tattoos and looks as if it is made of wax. His eyes are motionless. As you approach, the black figure almost doubles over as he sweeps into a low bow. The vendor moves with a supernatural delicacy and grace impossible for a human. He extends his arms, also covered in tattoos, toward you. The ink on his palms comes to life and forms the words, "Greetings, I am Krebis, vendor of magical lunatics." The voice of the hand sounds contemplative. "I can sense shadows. Evil shadows that once served their old master Viriavaxis, whom I fought valiantly but had not the strength to defeat. Beware this one, champion, for he is linked to powers both formidable and cunning." Something inside you awakens and casts a fiery glance at the slaver. You can see the darkness curling under the thin layer of his skin, or rather a shadow resembling darkness. A demon woman of shadows. What kind of slaves can you... Who are you and where did you come from? 3 words appear on the vendor's palms. Krebis, from everywhere. The secretive stranger smiles lifelessly and shrugs. His soft, flowing movements are so smooth as to be almost indiscernible, as if he were not a creature of flesh, but rather of melting wax. The slaver opens his mouth wide, and you can see neither teeth nor tongue inside. The ink on his palm forms the words, "I can communicate." What kind of slaves can you offer? With a slight nod, Krebis points at a group of slaves standing nearby. All of them are completely motionless, their backs unnaturally straight. They seem to be drugged. Their eyes are entirely black, without a hint of pupil, and in the depths, tiny blue sparks flicker like stars in the night sky. From time to time, some of the slaves utter something uncanny or barely incomprehensible, then fall silent again. Tiny ink glyphs begin to appear rapidly on the slaver's palm as if drawn by a skilled scribe. My lunatics. Magical ingredients for ritual sacrifices. Dissolved in blood. Fermentation finished. Distillation finished. Deposited into practical self-propelled storage units inside the slaves' bodies. High magic potential. The goods were examined and certified by esteemed Willidus. Approved for trading. Okay. I can sense darkness inside them. Not mundane darkness, which is merely the absence of light, but an embodied darkness that begets evil, and possesses awareness instead of being emptiness and nothing. What cursed substances did he pump into these unfortunates? Keep an eye on them, for the darkness inside them waits for the right moment to be born into this world. What have you done to these slaves, and why? Snakes made of letters crawl over Krebis' hands. They are no longer slaves, they are vessels of magic. Their bodily fluids were drained and replaced by potions and decoctions imbued with energies. Their dried mummies were filled with the dampness of magic, and their dehydrated brains were filled with the mysteries of the universe. Top quality, Nihindrian, as they say here in Elutionera. Well, you have magic wares. The slaver gives you another low bow. One of his eyes suddenly rolls out of its eye socket. With a neat, gentle movement, Krebis touches the eyeball and returns it to its normal place, and then he points to his wares. Phantasmal Guide, +5 Ghost Touch Quarterstaff, Illusion Spells. Wearer of these boots casts the same spell for the 4th time during the day. Their next spell becomes quickened, as though using Quicken. Imminent Demise. When they make an attack of opportunity, the enemy must pass a fort saving throw or be knocked down. The ring also grants +2 competence bonus on attack and damage rolls with 2-handed weapons. Not actually that bad. Robe of Malice. +3 dodge bonus, only a monk of lawful evil. And then we've got scribe and potion things and a bunch of scrolls. Wand of Displacement, Wand of Lightning Bolt, Unholy Shepherd. While wielding this ring with the sign of Baphomet, you can summon 2 CR-14 half-fiendish minotaurs 3 times per day, and they'll fight on your side for 10 minutes. But if you die while wearing this ring, they are summoned too, but now as enemies. Ugh. Okay, gold coin from the flesh markets I will take, because we need the teleportation abilities. And it looks like the rest is scrolls. Yeah, the rest of it is scrolls. Alright, bulk selling. We can sell the 2 spears, this, and +2 ducks. Alright, not the worst situation, but at least we get some money. And you know what? I am going to end this episode here. Next episode, we'll delve into the flesh markets and see what we're dealing with in here. Till then, I am Chestic44, also known as Fly. That is me, Regil, Woljif, Darren, Lan, and Nenio. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous, and I shall see you all next time.